All right, guys, welcome. This is 2017, week number 1 Sotla of many Sotlas, and we are back. It is football season. Woo! I just did my league pick'em. I just did all my prep for everything. I am so ready to go. What do I have this week is the power rankings from the draft from yours truly here based on the season outlook. And what else am I going to do? You know, that intro would have been a lot better when it was actually pouring out. Now it's actually sunny and nice. So I just spent 45 minutes with Spectrum. Basically, Time Warner was so shitty, they rebranded themselves and they still suck. I did have internet. I got it fixed because I had to get cable to make sure I could watch football tonight. It was all a nightmare. But we made it. Let's do this shit. It is time for the power rankings. And I don't have a drop because I didn't prepare that much because, again, I spent 45 minutes on the phone. All right, let's go through power rankings starting with 12 all the way to number 1. Number 12 this year is Sam. He's got one proven starter. He's got so many unknowns. I wouldn't expect that this many rookies are going to be home run picks, all right? Some of them are going to be busts. Some are going to produce, but not all of them. You know, even so, it's going to take a few weeks to find out who's good and who's not, so he's going to have so many misses. It's just going to really hurt his early season record. And, you know, who am I to criticize Sam winning 3 or 4 years? But so far, I've got him at number 12, okay? Number 11 here, I got Stud. I'm not sure how far Brady's going to carry this team. You know, his wide receiver cast is very questionable. Larry Fitzgerald, a year older. The rest of the wide receivers in the Cardinals, they're ready to go. They're healthy. You know, Larry Fitzgerald always seems to start quick, but he fades as the season goes on. I'm not a fan of DeAndre Hopkins. Well-known fact for that. And, you know, Texans still have no QB. They still have Tom Savage. Going forward, I don't like that Stud's team. He's there at 11 for me. Number 10, I've got Kevin. He does have a respectable roster. I think he's got a good set of flex options. My problem is his question marks on Emmanuel Sanders. You know, the Broncos still don't have a QB, so they don't really have a whole lot thrown to him, and I really question Ty Montgomery's usage, so I've got Kevin there at 10. Number 9 here, I've got Scott. The week 1 Hurricane Irma really killing Scott's lineup. I'm surprised that he did draft Jeremy Maclin after spending 3-4 weeks first season texting everyone trying to get rid of him. I do like his flex options, but I do worry about his quarterback options. But Phillip Rivers does have a bunch of healthy weapons, so you know maybe that's not going to be a bad option there. Number 8, who do I have, is Webster. He did surprise everyone going Le'Veon Bell number 1. That was crazy at the draft, a big surprise. But he also surprised me with how weak his bench is. He doesn't really have much wiggle room come his bye weeks. I already think Gillisley is an overrated projection since he's on the Pats with about 3 other running backs. I do think he is the best one on the team. However, it's tough to put him higher than number 8 with no backups. For all you people that think I'm a big homer here, I have myself at number 7. I like my QB tandem there. I've got some wide receiver 2s with upside, but I need stability at running back 2. We all know how that went for me last year, just filling in guys all the time. I'm banking on Gronk to be healthy all year, and that's not necessarily going to pay off. So I have myself at number 7. For those of you still watching and new to this, it's only Derek's State of League address. That's why I call it Sotla, just so you know. Number 6, here I have Moan. I'm not too high on Austin Hooper at tight end, but, you know, the Atlanta offense is effective. He probably does have the second best wide receiver core in the league. His running backs do need work, but he does have some bench options that may pan out in time. So we know it's easier to find a wide receiver than a running back. So it is good to have alternate options available on his roster, on his bench. But there are a couple teams ahead of him that I like, so I have Moan at 6. Number 5 is Nick. If Dez and LaShawn McCoy are at their best, Nick's got a hell of a team, but his team does need a running back number 2, and regardless, this might be the first time that I said Nick has a nice competitive team, so nice job there, Nick, at number 5. Number 4, Kyle, being at the bottom of the league last year with all the injuries that he had, but guess what? He's got a big improvement here with having Mariota. I think he's got so many added options here at the wide receiver. I can't expect Alshon Jeffrey to be healthy, but he is healthy now, and I'm not going to ding him for that. I like his team. He's got the best running back combo, And we saw last year what Mo did with the best running back combo, finishing first in regular season. So he's got a better chance than most here. Number 3, Pembroke. Listen, I've had Eli Manning 2 of the last 4 years. You can have him. He's very frustrating. Games you think he's supposed to do well, he sucks, and vice versa. But with that being said, that's probably the worst thing I can say about this team. Very good all around. We got Pembroke at number 3. Number 2, Derek. I don't like Allen Robinson. He's got Blake Bortles thrown to him. But he does have 2 or 3 replacements on the bench for him at flex. He does by far have the best wide receiver core. I don't think Martellus Bennett is too much to get excited about, but it is tight end, probably the least important position. And he does have Jack Doyle there, and I think that's some potential when Andrew Luck gets back, so we'll have to wait and see on Martellus Bennett. Number 1, I got Zuck. I think he always drafts pretty well. He just got impatient last year with his injuries to everybody. I thought he actually already had a decent team for week 1. Then I saw he had a Jai on the bench because of the postponement on the game in the Dolphins and Bucks. So there was a nice spread of potential and reliability on the bench as well. I think he just barely squeaks past by Derek because he doesn't have A-Rob, but I do have Zuck at number 1 going forward in the power rankings. So go for that. Let's see. Let's do the league pick'em. For those of you guys who don't know, I may only be talking to Derek on this one. On the desktop, you can access it on your app too if you're crafty. They do have league pick'em. This is just for bragging rights. It turns out I think only 3 people end up doing it every week, every year. But hey, give it a shot. It's just for fun. I like to give my picks of who I'm picking of all the matchups every week. So I'm just going to give you guys my picks, and they'll be reflected on league pick'em. So first matchup I've got myself over Sam. I know Sam did get lucky playing Zeke, and I had Darren McFadden. So those 2 flip-flopped on me. I don't have Devontae Parker, but he is missing a defense and a tight end, and I think that's going to end up hurting him because there's really nothing on the block to pick those guys up. So I've got myself over Sam. Over here, I've got on the next game, Kyle versus Scott. I have Kyle winning this matchup. I saw Scott was banking on Jaquiz Rogers and Jarvis Landry playing. Hurricane Irma is going to really wash his chances away against Kyle. So I've got Kyle beating Scott in week 1. Next matchup is Nick versus Pembroke. I did think this was super close to call, but Eli sucks against the sucky teams, and he does great against great teams. The Cowboys are a real juggernaut. I don't like Thomas Rawls on Nick's team as a starter, especially on any Seahawks going forward until we see what happens there in their backfield. So I'm going to go Pembroke over Nick. Stud and Moan. Super close matchup. I actually like this. I had a nearly dead heat, but just the tiebreaker here is going to be DeAndre Hopkins. So I'm going to go Moan over Stud until DeAndre Hopkins proves me wrong. I'm just going to keep going against him because we were waiting on him all year last year and it never panned out. Derek and Kevin. This one was pretty easy here because I'm going to go with the assumption that OBJ is not going to play for Kevin's team, which kind of kills most of Kevin's chances because he really needs him to win over Derek, who's got a really sorry team. So I'm sorry, Kev, nothing against your team. It's just that you got an injury that's really hurting your team. Zuck versus Alex this year. This is going to be my upset of the week. I just called Zuck at number 1 in the power rankings, but he is missing a Jai, and T.Y. Hilton is without Andrew Luck this week, and Le'Veon Bell is playing the Browns. So even though I do think Zuck has a better team, the matchups are panning out, and I'm leaning towards Alex on this one. I think Zuck loses this game, but he is not going to lose many this season. So I tried to make it quick, still 10 minutes. No matter what I do, this shit is always 10 minutes long. That is Sotla number 1, gentlemen. I'll see you next week. Enjoy the game tonight. You hear the echo, man, I seen the best go, cause seeing how that metal,